Sister Rosehead. I just want to thank you for being here, and we appreciate you being here and taking part in the Fresh Start 40th anniversary celebration. Sister Rose, nice to see you again. Sister Rose, when was it that you first attended the First Church of God and Fresh Start now?
Probably around the last part of July 1970.
July 70 is when they officially
They were in the J.C. Hall.
started the church
They just
here.
started J.C. Hall. They just finished up meeting in Stelter's garage. I think they met about 4 weeks in Stelter's garage. There was 4 people, 4 couples that started the church.
You remember, you recall any of them? You remember
Yes, I remember Sally and Buzz Seaton, and Carol and Darrell Raines, and Barbara and Jim Osfeld, and the Stelters.
Yes. What was it that made you first attend it when you first came for First Church of God? What was it about attracted you here?
Well, I had left the Church of God in Austin, Texas when I moved here. And then I was driving down home because I didn't know where anything was here. So I was driving down to Okema to attend church on weekends, Sundays with my mom. And then I happened to be sitting in the front yard putting a swing set together for my little 2.5-year-old. And Henry Stelter came out and introduced himself to me. And then he began to talk about where the church was meeting and invited me. And so the next Sunday we went to the J.C. Hall to church, and I've been there ever since. That's all I needed to know is where it was.
Sister Rose, all those years you've been here. And
Well, I
praise
was
God
gone
for
for
that.
2 years
Yes.
when I went to New Mexico, and that was, they didn't have they were still meeting in J.C. Hall until I came back in 73, and I got in on helping clean the new building. They just had bought the property just before I got back and got the building built and everything. So I did get in on getting it cleaned up and helping open it up, so I was thrilled with that.
Wow. So what made you stay all these years?
I've loved it. It's just, you know, you get to knowing people, and I see the God in them. I don't worry about, you know, if I disagree with people, that's no big deal, because I love the people and I know God loves them. So it's easy for me, because that's how I see things, that God loves them, and He's what's responsible for the church. So that's how it's easy for me to say.
Amen. What was your main ministry in the church while you were here?
I don't think I had one. I'm just I'm just there to do things when people need something done.
You were like our stealth worker then, right? I know you
Yeah.
got involved in bowling.
I know I was, I had that for 20-some years, about
Yes.
27 years, the bowling league. But I I don't know, involved in different things. I had a children's class once with the little kids. And, you know, I knew, the reason I really loved it because we'd kneel down and have prayer and let each child pray. And if you'd ever heard their parents pray, you didn't have to look to see what kid was praying, because you recognized the prayer that from that parent to that child. And that's what was so awesome, that, you know, you recognize that. And it's awesome to get involved and see people like that.
I know one ministry
Makes a difference.
for sure that you were involved with, and
Well, the nursing home ministry.
yes.
Yeah, well, that's Letha Johnson that got me going there, because I'd sung a song for her to see if she knew it, and she told me I sang good, and I said, no, I don't sing good, but I was used to singing with. I love the guitars because my mom was a guitar player, and that's what we always sang with, was guitars. So Letha was good with that. If she played the guitar, I could sing with the guitar.
And I know Sister Sarah Perkins encouraged you to,
Yeah, she's the one
Sing.
that's responsible for it, because I kept telling Letha, no, I didn't sing good, and Sister Sarah turned around one night and said, Rose, nowhere in the Bible does it say you have to sing good. It says make a joyful noise unto the Lord. And I went, oh, okay, but if you hear that thing off key, that's that joyful noise. But she is responsible, and we did a lot of singing together. A lot of times somebody would call, needed somebody to come, and Sarah would call me, and I'd go pick her up, and it'd just be me and her that would show up at the nursing home and sing for an hour for the people. So we spent a lot of times just the two of us singing.
I remember I went a couple times and the people that were there looked in anticipation for you guys to come through the door, because they were all excited and waiting, just waiting.
They do that.
And you know, everything you've talked about so far has just been great, precious memories. Do you have anyone or any special memory in your heart for the time that you've been here?
Yeah, I love them all, because I think when I first came, I was enjoying it because Pastor Thornburg was by yourself and with 3 kids raising them. You know, you don't think you're going to be able to help do anything, because everybody else can do it. And then Pastor Thornburg kind of put a stop to that, so he decided, because his little boy was like Brian's age, a little bit older, but they played real good together, so he would bring his typewriter over to my house, and we would sit at my kitchen table, and the 2 little ones played together, so it kept them occupied. And he would type the newsletter, and I would address the envelopes and seal the letters up. So he was responsible for letting me see that I could do things to help.
But isn't it something though? After that time, you're probably willing to step forward a little bit more.
Yeah, well, I was stepping forward anytime anybody needed any help. So, but that's just who I am. So, God can flash things before you. You know when.
Sister Rose, I know you've went through many physical ailments during this time, and yet the Lord has walked you through each one of them, and still does today. Do you have any special testimony and special moments that you'd like to share about that?
You know, I've known that God has been with every surgery that I went through, because I had that peace of feeling. But when I had the spur drilled from my spinal cord the first time was when I had spent an hour on my knees. I had to stack up like 6 or 8 pillows to get on my knees, because my legs wouldn't bend at all, because the nerves in back was so tight. But anyway, when I got up from that prayer, about an hour of praying, I felt this peace that had come over me. But this lady came in, and the x-ray technician asked her, said, "What are you doing here for?" She said, "I don't know." She said, "I couldn't relax at home." Said, "Something just told me to come." And said, "I'm here." And they got talking, and she said, "Well, why don't you go ahead and go to lunch, and I'll finish up for you." Well, then she started doing the x-rays, and she asked me, turned around and said, "What surgeon is going to do your surgery?" And I said, "Dr. Shane Hoss." And she said, "Oh," said, "he's a fantastic surgeon." Said, "He's responsible for saving my dad's life." And it just flashed before me. God had sent her to assure me that I was in good hands. And it's awesome how he works like that.